Hi there, I'm Christina from It Is a Keeper. Today I'm showing you how to make a light and luscious coconut poke cake. Poke cakes are one of my favorite types of cake. You bake a beautiful tender cake and then poke holes all over it. Then you drizzle some sort of flavored liquid on top and let it ooze into all the holes, filling the cake with that delicious flavor. Poke cakes aren't fussy at all. I mean, how fussy can you be when there's holes poked all over the top? And that's why I love them. So today we're going the tropical route and making a coconut poke cake. It is so dreamy. But before we get started, make sure you click on the red subscribe button below so you are notified whenever I share new recipes. And as always, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. So ready? Let's bake a cake. So the first thing we need to do to make our coconut poke cake is to get the cake base ready. And it starts with a boxed cake mix. So here I have a white cake mix, and I'm just going to pour the entire package into the bowl. And to this, we're going to add some water. I'm basically just following the instructions on the back of the box. I'm going to add some vegetable oil. And then I need to add some egg whites, and we're just using the whites of the egg because it is a white cake mix. We want to preserve that nice, pristine white color. So we're not going to add the yolks, just the whites. So let me get those separated out here for you. So there's one. I'm adding 3 of them. I have a really cool trick on my channel on how to separate egg whites from the yolks. You'll be blown away when you see how cool it is, and kids love it too. So make sure you check that out. I'll put the link in the video description. All right, there's 2. You can save the yolks for another recipe. And 3. And the last thing we're going to add to our cake mix is some coconut extract. We really want to amp up that coconut flavor. So I'm gonna put a little bit of that in there. And of course, if you'd like coconut, you could beef that up just a little bit more. It's entirely up to you. Alrighty, so now we have to get this mixed. So I just have my hand mixer here, and I'm gonna start off slow because I don't wanna fling cake batter all around my kitchen. So I'm gonna start off nice and slow and then kick the speed up a little bit. Alrighty, so looks like our batter here is done. I'm just going to pop out the beaters. Now before we pour this into our cake pan, I just want to give it a stir with my spatula just to make sure there's no dry pockets anywhere. So I'm going all the way down to the bottom and along the sides, just making sure everything is fully combined. Alrighty. So now we are going to transfer this into a 9x13 baking dish and get it ready to go in the oven. Okay, so here I have my 13x9 baking dish. I'm just going to transfer the cake batter into the baking dish, getting it all in there. And look how beautifully white that is. If we had put those egg yolks in there, it wouldn't be this beautiful, beautiful white color. It would have like a little bit of an off-white. Now, the last thing I want to do before I throw it into the oven, well, not throw it into the oven, carefully place it into the oven, is I want to give it a bounce on the counter a couple times. And that just brings any air pockets that are in the cake batter up to the top so that we don't have big holes. But I mean, this is a poke cake, so I guess we do kind of want holes in it. But anyway, when you're baking a cake, it's always good to just wrap it a couple times on the counter before you put it in the oven to get those air bubbles out. So we're gonna pop this into a 350-degree oven, and we're going to bake it according to the package directions. So while our cake is baking, we are going to work on the topping, and it's really a super simple topping. It starts with a container of frozen whipped topping that I've thawed, and we're just going to add the entire container to our bowl. And then to really amplify that coconut flavor, I'm going to add a teaspoon of that coconut extract that we used earlier. And that's it. We're just going to combine those two into this light, luscious, coconutty topping. That's it. So I told you it was super simple. We just have to wait for our cake to finish baking and then get the holes poked in it. Okay, so our cake has just come out of the oven. It's nice and hot and smells so coconutty. So now we are going to poke holes all over the top of it. And I just use the end of one of my spoons here, and I go different widths, I shouldn't say widths, I should say depths. I use different depths with the spoon and just kind of poke even rows of holes all over the top. Okay, so all the holes are in there. You see, it doesn't have to look so pretty. And now I have a can of cream of coconut. So when you open the can up, you're gonna notice that there's like this solid layer on top of it. You can't always shake it off to shake it into it. So what I do sometimes, I just pop it in the microwave for a few seconds just to get it all liquidy and homogenized like this into where it'll drizzle nicely into the holes. And then you're just gonna drizzle it right over the cake, aiming for those holes so it drinks it up. And you have to do this while the cake is warm, because that's when it's really going to absorb this liquid. So I'm just going right over the top. Look at that soaking right into there. Oh, so good. Now this is cream of coconut, not coconut milk. The cream of coconut is a little bit thicker, a little bit sweeter. You can find it very easily in the grocery store. All right, the whole can is over there. We're just gonna let this soak in, and we want the cake to cool completely before we move on to add our topping. So we're just gonna let this hang out here on the counter, cool down, and then we're gonna get that topping on there. Okay, so our poke cake has completely cooled. There is no chance that our frosting is going to melt on top of it. So now what we need to do is just spread that topping that we made across the top of our poke cake. And then, oh, I can smell that coconut. I love it. It's one of my favorite tropical flavors, pineapple and coconut. I love it. Ooh, this would be good with pineapple on it too. Just saying. All right. So now we're just going to spread this into an even coating. See how light this cake is? I mean, the cake itself is light from using just the egg whites and without the yolk. And then the topping is light and luscious. You could easily make your own whipped cream too, if you prefer. That's perfectly fine. So we have our topping on there. So we have coconut flavor in the cake. We have coconut flavor in the topping. We are going to top the whole thing then with some sweetened shredded coconut. So we're just taking it to a whole new level. And I like to leave this just plain. You can also toast it if you want to amp that flavor up, but I love just the snowy white look and just keeping everything that beautiful white color. So I have about a cup here, and I'm just going to put a nice even coating on the top. You could also use unsweetened coconut if you prefer. It's entirely up to you. It's your cake after all. All right, we're just gonna spread that around so that every piece has some. Ta-da. There we go. And that's it. It was so super simple. Now, before we can dig into this, we need to refrigerate it for about an hour, just so everything comes together and that topping really sets up and all the flavors just become one. And then we can dig in and give this bad boy a try. All right, so our cake is ready. Let's dig into this luscious boy. So good. This tastes just like a tropical vacation would taste. The coconut in the cake, from the cream of coconut that had oozed into all those holes that we poked in there. Then you have like the texture from the shredded coconut and the light topping with that coconut flavor. I mean, this thing is just oozing flavor. You have to try this cake. It is so good. Thanks for watching. You can get the full printable recipe in the video description below. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss a single thing. And check out the rest of my videos where you can find more of my favorite easy recipes and quick tips. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.